Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Estimate Kind that says, "Am I the arsehole for sleeping with my sister's husband?" Yeah. I, 29 female, find myself in a complicated and difficult situation that has strained my relationship with my sister, 31 female. I recently slept with her husband and now she refuses to speak to me. However, I genuinely believe that I am not solely to blame for the fallout, and I need an impartial judgment on whether I'm the arsehole in this scenario. Prior to the incident, I noticed some questionable behavior from my brother-in-law, 33 male, towards me. Feeling concerned about my sister's well-being, I decided to address the issue with her. However, she dismissed my concerns, leaving me unsure of how to proceed. My sister works as a flight attendant and is gone more than she is at home. My brother-in-law recently lost his job and was feeling depressed. During one of her frequent absences from home, she asked me to keep her husband company. She trusted me and didn't believe the warnings that I gave her before about his behavior towards me. But I saw this as an opportunity to support their marriage and help them rebuild their connection. Unfortunately, as we spent more time together, our bond deepened and we eventually crossed a line that should never have been crossed. We both had been drinking and he was complaining to me about the troubles in their marriage and how he hasn't been for a while. He was crying and I decided to comfort him. One thing led to another and we did the unthinkable. I woke up realizing the nature of what I did and immediately realized the nature of what happened. We were both so intoxicated that we stupidly ended up falling asleep. I awoke to my sister screaming and hitting the both of us screaming, "How could you do this to me? We're sisters and I trusted you." She wouldn't even give me a chance to explain and kicked me out of the house. Now my sister refuses to speak to me. She has filed for divorce. Our parents are siding with her, saying that I violated every family moral. However, I believe that there are multiple factors at play here, and I am not the only one responsible for the breakdown of their marriage. While I acknowledge my mistake, I also question why my sister failed to address the issues in her relationship, and why she left her husband in my care without setting clear boundaries. Does a boundary have to be that you don't sleep with him? I mean, come on now. I do feel a sense of guilt and remorse for my actions, but I also recognize that my sister and her husband had their fair share of problems. It's unfair to place all the blame on me when there were underlying issues that existed long before our involvement. That being said, I understand my sister's anger and hurt. I am willing to accept responsibility for my actions and make amends, but I also believe that it is crucial for her to acknowledge her role in this situation. Rebuilding trust and repairing our relationship will require open and honest communication from both parties. In sharing my story, I hope for an unbiased judgment and guidance on how to navigate this difficult situation. Am I the arsehole for sleeping with my sister's husband? Now, I'm just trying to get my head around the logic where you keep making excuses for yourself, like she left her husband in my care without setting boundaries. Like I said, you need a boundary not to sleep with your sister's husband. I mean, what'd you say to that? There is no coming back from what you have done. You've betrayed her trust and you are never going to get that back. And for you to think that it's crucial for her to acknowledge her role in this, their relationship was potentially on the rocks and they were having various issues, they were still married. And I just don't think there's ever going to be a chance of you rebuilding this relationship again. But we do have an update to this post, some screenshots and a further update as well. So Medical Collar says your logic is their relationship was already failing, so your sister should take responsibility. Let me ask you a question using your own logic. Let's say your car is older and needs some work done. If I come up and steal your car GTA style and I total it, would you be at fault for the crash because the car was already failing? Or would it be me because I'm the one that took it and couldn't control the car and crashed? See how dumb that sounds? If it was failing, then your job was to help your sister get through this and guide her towards counseling or a divorce. Instead, you guided your way into his pants. I think it's more to the story, and the more to the story is you had feelings for the brother-in-law for a while, and that this drunk behavior made you act on it. You give off golden child energy in which you've rarely been held accountable. Oh, and if my comment wasn't clear enough, you're the arsehole. Late meaning quotes OP and says, I also question why my sister failed to address the issues in her relationship and why she left her husband in my care without setting clear boundaries. Then says, the clear boundary is called marriage, even if that marriage has problems. Quotes again saying, but I also believe that it's crucial for her to acknowledge her role in this situation. And says, she has no role in her sister doing the unthinkable and sleeping with her husband, other than apparently trusting that with you, something like that would not happen. And quotes again saying, I also question why my sister failed to address the issues in her relationship. And then says, that isn't really your business. And it wasn't your place to try and fix her marriage issues with your vagina. Igor says, relationship declining. That's the excuse you were giving. You slept with your sister's husband. Doesn't matter if they were having problems. They were still in a relationship. They were still married. Either they could have sold things or went their separate ways, but you went and fucked him. You betrayed your sister by sleeping with a man whom she made vows with, and you think you are the victim. Get the fuck off your high horse and come back to reality. Your sister will never have anything to do with you again, and good for her. The trash took itself out in double. The cheating husband and the two-faced sister. You're the arsehole. Book reader says, you're the arsehole. Keep your damn legs closed. I'm reading excuses and excuses, but you ruined her marriage with the arsehole together. He's an arse, but you are more, because how can you do that to your sister? It's disgusting. Anyone who will say otherwise is also an arsehole. Being drunk is zero excuse, and if you didn't want to sleep with him, you wouldn't. Even if she told you to sleep with him, you still wouldn't do this. She trusted you and you made a fool out of her. Hope she does the right thing and goes no contact, and I hope your parents will choose her side as well and will also drop you. Maybe you can find your ex-brother-in-law and be happy because you deserve each other. So first we have the update, which was in the same post, and then followed by some screenshots which are mentioned in this update as well. So it says, okay guys, I get it. You guys have ripped me apart in the comments, and yeah, I admit I messed up. After deeply reflecting on my actions and seeking advice from others, I've come to realize the extent of the hurt and damage I caused to my sister. I genuinely regret my behavior and am now fully aware that I was in the wrong. There's no excuse for what I did, and I think I was trying to excuse my actions because the thought of it all was too painful. Last night, after reading comments, I mustered up the courage to reach out and apologize to my sister. Unfortunately, despite my sincere efforts, she has not only refused to speak to me, but also blocked me from all forms of communication. The fact that my sister has taken such measures is deeply upsetting to me. I yearn for her forgiveness and genuinely want her back in my life. However, I understand that I cannot force her to reconcile or forgive me on my terms. I've sought advice from friends and family on how to navigate the situation, but it seems like the best course of action for now is to respect her boundaries and give her the space she clearly needs. I continue to reflect on my actions and have sought therapy to address the underlying issues that led to my hurtful behavior. I found some online and plan on calling them soon to get started up to help figure out the root of my behavior. I'm committed to personal growth and becoming a better person, regardless of whether or not my sister chooses to reconnect with me, in which I will never give up trying. I've also reached out to mutual friends and family members, hoping they might act as intermediaries or offer support in bridging the gap between us. However, I understand that they too must respect my sister's boundaries and not get involved in our personal dispute. My ex-brother-in-law has refused to pick up any of my phone calls through all of this. I heard from my mother that he told her I initiated the entire thing and got him drunk, then forced myself onto him, which is the furthest thing from the truth. I can't believe he'd throw me under the bus after I was there for him for so long. Guess I really looked like the fool, huh? The pain of not being able to communicate with my sister is devastating, but I am determined to learn from my mistakes and make amends in any way possible. I will continue to work on myself and strive to become someone who deserves her forgiveness, even if it takes a significant amount of time. To say the past few months has been insane is an understatement. I feel like my entire world has caved in. While I hold on to hope that one day my sister will be willing to reopen the lines of communication, I also acknowledge the possibility that she may never want to speak to me again. Regardless, I will continue to grow, learn, and reflect on my actions, knowing that healing and reconciliation are processes that cannot be rushed or forced. I hope my sister sees my remorse, my effort to grow. I will update if anything further happens. So we got the images from the text messages that OP sent their sister, and then it was blocked shortly after. They started off saying, "Lindsay, I'm extremely sorry. I haven't been able to sleep, eat, or function since this all happened. Regardless of you believing it's been ongoing, it only happened once. I take full responsibility for my part. I should have distanced myself from him when he was making advances before. I should have pressed it more. I shouldn't have gave in. I was intoxicated. I wouldn't have ever done it sober. I take responsibility for it. I just feel that responsibility needs to be taken that it was already failing. You should have left him a long time ago, or even believe me when I tried to tell you." Sister responded, "Are you kidding me? You're always the victim, Kelly, always. You can never take responsibility for your actions. I swear you could hit someone with a car walking on a damn sidewalk and you'd argue it was their fault too for not moving. You betrayed me. You're right, I stupidly didn't believe you because I was in denial about my marriage, but I never thought you'd do this to me. I helped raise you. I was there for you whenever you needed me. I forgave you for the upbringing we had, with you always being the favorite. You cannot handle the fact that mum and dad are siding with me for once. I never want to see you again. You are no longer my sister." OP responded, "I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt you. I'm not trying to play the victim at all. I take responsibility, but why am I getting the most heat here? He's just at fault. All I'm saying is you should have left him or been actively trying to fix a relationship and it wouldn't have gone this far. But that still does not excuse my actions. I am the worst. I just don't understand why I get the most heat." Sister responds again saying, "Because you are my sister. Men come and go. I'm not going back and forth. Have a good life being the something that you are." So the OP comes in with another update and says, "Wow, you guys are ruthless. I fully see that I was in the wrong and my behavior is inexcusable. I do not deserve to have her as a sister and I'm literally a piece of crap. There's not a single insult you guys can give me that I haven't given myself." Surprisingly, my sister unblocked me, expressing a desire for closure and personal healing. It seems that she has reached the point where she needs to address the past in order to move forward, but she has made it clear that she doesn't wish to continue our relationship. We had an open and honest discussion about the pain and hurt that had accumulated over time. It was an emotional and challenging conversation, but one that allowed us to express our feelings and seek some form of closure. During our conversation, my sister made it clear that she has made the difficult decision to no longer have a relationship with me. She explained that she needs to focus on her own healing and well-being and believes that maintaining a relationship with me would hinder that process. It was a heartbreaking realization for me to accept, but I understand and respect her choice. In our conversation, I took the opportunity to sincerely apologize for any pain I have caused her. I acknowledged my past mistakes and expressed deep regret for my actions. While I had hoped for a different outcome, I understand that my sister's healing journey is her own to navigate, and it may not involve me. Moving forward, I will continue to reflect on the lessons learned from this experience. I've come to understand the impact of my actions and the importance of personal growth and self-reflection. It is crucial for me to learn from this and strive to become a better person, even if it means accepting that my sister wants no further relationship with me. While it is painful to accept the loss of a close bond, I will honor my sister's wishes and give her the space she needs to heal and move forward. I will continue to work on myself, seeking personal growth and understanding, and ensuring that I do not repeat the mistakes of the past. This experience has taught me the importance of empathy, forgiveness, and respecting the boundaries of others. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have had this conversation with my sister, as it has allowed me to gain a deeper understanding of the consequences of my actions and the importance of growth and healing in relationships. This will likely be my last update, as there's nothing more to say. I lost my sister and the respect of the people closest to me. But through all of this, she is the victim, not me. I deserve this. Now, I'm not sure how I felt about that update, and it might be unfair of me to say that, because usually when, I do posts like this, then there's some self-reflection in the post. Even if someone's done something wrong, I generally think that self-reflection and teaching yourself to be a better person is a good thing. Otherwise, you continue down this path and then someone's out there somewhere causing more damage, Obviously, not forgiving any of the past behavior. I don't blame the sister at all for doing what they did in this particular situation. And I could only ever see it coming out that way, that the sister wants nothing to do with OP. I know it's OP's post and they're talking about their experience, but it felt very like, look at me, everybody. I'm a better person now. Like they deserve some kind of like pat on the head or something after all of this. But I don't know. How did that one make you feel? Oh dear. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. But our next story comes from Dear Hovercraft 3749 and says, am I the arsehole for telling my father and stepmother that I'll exchange the gift they bought for my daughter? My daughter is turning 5 later this month. We have a trip coming up, so we decided to have a birthday party last Saturday instead. When we got home after the party, we helped our daughter open her gifts. The only ones she didn't open were the ones we realized were jewelry or clothing, so doesn't care about those, only the toys. Which me and my husband opened without her. Those were gifted mostly by family members. The jewelry department mainly consisted of necklaces and bracelets. The sole exception was a pair of earrings gifted by my father and his wife. My daughter's ears aren't pierced. We didn't pierce them when she was born, nor do we intend to do anytime soon. We want to let her decide whether she wants to, and she's never expressed any interest. So me and my husband already knew we'd be exchanging the earrings. Usually we don't tell people we're exchanging a gift they bought for us. This time is different. My stepmother has been pestering me about piercing my daughter's ears since she was born. There's always a different reason why. First, it was because people wouldn't know she was a girl if we didn't, and then it turned into she'll get jealous of her friends, and so on. But she always makes the point that girls need to have their ears pierced. She brings it up almost every time we see her. My father usually doesn't comment on it, but has backed her up a few times. Also, my stepmother's never complained about my older son's appearance, so I know this is rooted in sexism. When my father called us the next day to ask what we thought of the earrings, I told him they looked nice. My stepmother joined in and asked, so you're getting her ears pierced? I tried to dodge the question, but she later asked it again, so I told them no. I looked at the store's website and found a matching necklace, which we'll exchange the earrings for. There's a price difference, but I'll cover it. Well, they weren't happy. Apparently, my stepmother started crying. My father told me off for thinking about exchanging a thoughtful gift he bought for his granddaughter, and said it was wrong of me to dismiss my stepmother's opinion like that. In return, I told them I couldn't take her insistence anymore, and she needed to stop obsessing over my daughter's ears. It escalated into a fight. My husband, while 100% on my side, otherwise thinks I didn't need to tell them. Am I the arsehole? Edits: the party took place at a kids' party venue, not at our home. We're not from the US, and it's not common to open gifts in front of guests around here. Absolutely not the arsehole in this situation whatsoever. And her obsession around this, the fact that she's crying about it as well, is quite scary, I think. To the point I would even go as far to say, and this might be extreme, but I wouldn't let them babysit your daughter alone, because there's the chance that she'd just get them pierced without your consent. We've seen it before in these stories. We've definitely covered an ear piercing one in the past, which has happened. Hairstyles as well. And she was never going to let this drop. So you was absolutely right in shutting that shit down and telling them where you stand on this. You did need to tell them. But Tangerine Bouquet says, not the arsehole. Honestly, I'd never let them babysit your daughter unsupervised because of that level of insistence. Your stepmother pushed. This is more than a reasonable boundary to hold. No, you will not be piercing your daughter's ears. It wasn't a gift. It was an attempted manipulation. Even if it were his side of the family, your husband would be out of line here. This is an example of needing to tell them that the gift was inappropriate because they knew full well it was. Bulbasaur Ranch says, not the arsehole. It's ridiculous they tried to manipulate their bizarre desire to pierce your daughter's ears by gifting you this. They knew what they were trying and don't like being called out on it. It's not their kid, so they don't get to decide anything about parenting it. Get your stepmother a gift she can't use and see how she likes it. Tell her you think she needs to take up scuba diving and get her a dive mask. All gifts going forward are things she can't use. And when she questions it, you can tell her that it's a thoughtful gift and you've decided she needs to get into scuba diving. Someone replied underneath that, get her and the dad nipple rings. Hiroki says, not the arsehole. If you hadn't returned the earrings, they would have been forever used as the pretext for bringing up your daughter getting her ears pierced, so she can wear them. They bought them for that purpose. You weren't being rude. You were rejecting rudeness. They jammed their foot into your closing door like a pushy salesman who won't accept no for an answer. You're removing the foot so the door can be closed. The OP updated their post and says, I want to thank everyone who commented on my previous post. A few days after I wrote, I called my father. I told him that both him and his wife were out of line and that any further attempts to overrule my and my husband's parenting will have consequences. We're both more than willing to limit their contact with our children if they don't stay in their lane. We did end up fighting about it, but I put my foot down. Eventually, my father agreed. A few days later, he sent me an apology via text and offered to cover the price difference between the earrings and the necklace. I declined. I also discussed the situation with my husband. We both agreed to check whatever gifts our kids get from my father and his wife in the future. Better safe than sorry. My husband and I exchanged the earrings for the matching necklace during the weekend. Our girl loved it. We filmed her wearing it and thanking my father and his wife and sent them the video. My father sent us an audio. You're welcome, honey. I love you, etc. in response. My stepmother didn't reply, nor do I expect her to. Also, you guys are absolutely right. There's no way in hell either of them are ever babysitting my kids. But yeah, I think this is over. Thank you for reassuring me that I was right to hold my ground. And I don't want to be like Mr. Negative over here. I'm glad that OP, did stand their ground and, seems to have everything under control. But I'm not sure if everything is over from stepmother's point of view. I certainly think there'll be more drama coming from her in the future. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so, so much. And hopefully I will see you, you bloody cheeky so-and-so, in the next one. Take care and much love.